agent's mad cause I'm flagrant. Tap myself and the phone in the basement. My team supreme, stay clean. Triple beam, lyrical dream. I be that. Catch a seat at all events bent. Gats and holsters, girls on shoulders. Playboy, I told ya, me and Mike's to me. Lose too much, I lose too much. Step on stage, the girls boo too much. I guess it's cause the room with lame dudes too much. Me lose my touch, never that. If I did, ain't no problem to get the gap. Where the true players at? Throw your rollies in the sky, wait from side to side, and keep your hands high while I give your girl an eye. Play it please, lyrically, nigga C, B.I.G.B. flossing, jig on the cover of Fortune, 5 double O. That's my phone number, your man, I got the know, I got the dough, got the flow down, Bizak, platinum plus, like Bizak, dangerous on Trizak, leave your ass Frizak.
The greatness comes not when things go always good for you, but the greatness comes and you're really tested when you take some knocks, some disappointments, when sadness comes. Because only if you've been in the deepest valley can you ever know how magnificent it is to be on the highest mountain.
All right, enough with the intros, right? Glad to be back with you guys. It's been a long break with the live shows. Of course, been doing a lot of the recorded, but been a long break with the live shows. We're going to kick it into the comments for a brief bit. Welcome you guys. Please smash the like if you haven't done so. Share on YouTube and also the X platform. A lot of doom and gloom going on. What are you doing? Are you buying the dip? Let's get into all that here shortly. Let's start off with first comment of the day. It comes from the one and only Tim Shea, who sprays from far away. Mayor Crypto Commissioner in the House, representing the 589th District of XRP Army and his fellow constituents. Rain or shine, doom or gloom. Thanks for being here, Tim. Appreciate you, man. Member for 10 months. Yes, guess who is back? Thank you, brother. I do appreciate that. I saw all the doom and gloom. I was like, whoa, perfect time to finally come back, right? Absolutely. We also got the one and only Ahmed in the house. Good to see you, brother. I said Ahmed. Ahmed. I apologize. You corrected me a while back. Sorry about that. You know, get a little rusty, right? All right. Dietary Carb, BSV to the blankety blank moon. Welcome, welcome. Glad to have you. Always welcome newcomers. Kat, welcome back. Says hello, folks. Thank you very much. I did make that one a while back, but, you know, it's been a while since we had a major crash like this, right? Richie Rich is in the house. Good to see you, Richie. Hey, Max and everybody. So, you know, we're having some regulars up in the house. BB's back. Hi, Max. Thank you very much. Don't really have one, but thank you. I guess you guys are my family, so thank you very much. All right, let's go further down. Yes, to the moon. All right, Corbin says, what's up, Max? You work in 10 minutes. Well, I'm sorry. I can't wrap it all up in 10 minutes, but you can always catch the replay. Some of it will be chopped up, mainly the Stellar segment. That will be more towards the end of the outline tonight. Greg Beatty is in the house. Good day, mate. Well, welcome back. Good to see you, Greg. All right. BB says, waiting to pick up more cheap quant. Yes, it dropped all the way to 55. I saw that. Did you take advantage of it? Other people took advantage of it. Will Fix, my buddy, told me he took advantage of it, so that was cool. But going down doesn't matter as long as we go back up. Very good point. Marie Villas. Hey, Marie. Hey, Max. Great intro. Thanks. You know, sometimes you just need to play intro to allow people to filter in before you get into the material, right? All right. So pretty decent numbers so far. Smash the like. We're going to welcome a few more of you guys. 66 on the combined. And, you know, it's going to be lower numbers for sure. I mean, when there's lots of doom and gloom, not a lot of people want to watch, right? But you hardcore guys, that's cool. So, Corbin, what up, Max? I already read that. My bad. And let's read this from Kat. Hey, Max, just saying hi. Good to catch a live stream. Hey, thanks. Appreciate that. All right, let's see here. Only real ones show up to the bloody days. That is true. And only the real ones really buy on the bloody days, right? That's the time to stack. All right, Valero 760, still got all my JASMY. Me too, absolutely, me too. So, good points. Dietary Car, I've been here since the Satoshi interview. I just don't comment a lot. I listen to them. That's awesome. I really appreciate that. You know, especially on a day like this, it does mean a lot. Guys, welcome Dietary Car if you haven't done so already. Here's a guy I haven't seen in a long time, Salamander in space. Salamander, the XDC commander. It is really good to see you, man. Thanks for, you know, stopping by for sure. Everything on sale. Yeah, absolutely. Good to see you, man. All right. Jono Ozo. You got 50 quant. That's not bad, man. That's really nice, actually. All right. Stefan Echo, welcome back. Welcome back. We're going to get into the outline here in just a bit. But yeah, good to see you, Stefan. Johnny Tiny Crypto. I like the JASMY hat. Let's go. Appreciate you. Thank you, guys. I really do appreciate you as well. Yeah, this is a good point. Let's just recognize this real quick. So, Quant hit 55 today. I believe Casper is at like 1.2 cents. Are you kidding me? That's probably one of the best deals out there. Just top of my head, what was it? Swift Coin. I think you could get like 100,000 worth for $312, give or take. SHX is a great buy, right around that particular realm. BSV is a great buy. Lots of great buys, right? So that's the way. Like obviously, XLM 8 cents roughly. H bar right around 5 cents. So I mean, there's fantastic deals out there. All right, we're just gonna welcome. There's a couple more people. Blackwood, I haven't seen in a while. I did get your message. Hope you're doing well, brother. Good to see you. Welcome back, by the way. Okay. Haroon, hey man, welcome back. All eyes on Japan. Yep, I agree. All right. Well, guys, we're gonna do something a little bit different today. Well, not to start off with. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to address a lot of this doom and gloom, okay? You guys know me. I'm subscribed to Invest Your Place. Some people feel as though they got it wrong. They're not fortune tellers, but anyway, they try to share their own take on things. So there was a report that was released over the weekend, and now it's Monday. I thought I'd bring it to you guys. So we're going to get into that. There was also an emergency address from one of the main guys from Invest Your Place, who was Luke Lango. Just a little background, if you're new to the channel, he used to work for the LA Dodgers, also the Philadelphia 76ers in data analytics. He was also in the top 10, I think, at one point, in regards to stock picks. He's also really into crypto. So this guy has called it the last few cycles. So I do listen to him, and of course, you know, I'm subscribed to them. That's premium content. Thought I'd bring it to you guys. I've never charged anybody for that stuff. But nonetheless, let's get into that right now. So I'm going to pull this up for you, and you're going to see something about this. So let's get into the material. Let's full screen this real quick. Again, if you haven't done so already, smash the like. Let's get into why this is so important, why we're all paying attention to it. I know I've been away from you guys for a while in regards to the live shows. I haven't forgot about our community. Don't think I ever will ever forget about the community. But we need to address this. So let's talk about this. So we're going to get into this first, and then we're going to get into his emergency update. So they are not panicking all the way, right? This is not a, you know, the Office moment, right? Where you see, you know, everybody panicking. But, you know, they aren't worried about the sluggish crypto action. I know a lot of people are, but listen to the data. Look what is on the screen. And, you know, this part about the summer rally, you know, they thought that it was going to start in July. Then they thought it was going to be pushed out to this month of August. I have some data for you guys that I think we should pay attention to, which is my own personal research. But again, let's talk about some of these things. So, number one, U.S. economy started to flash some serious warning signs the past week. A lot of people feel as though it's past that, right? That it is doom and gloom, that it is going to be the recession. But pump the brakes on that for a second. Listen to the presented material. Don't skip over some of this stuff. It's crucial that you listen to some of this. So, crypto tumbling, stocks tumbling. Suddenly, everyone's worried about a recession. Like I mentioned earlier, suddenly cryptos are crashing again and again. They're wondering if this is the top for the cycle. Is it in the bear market coming? But rather than think this is just noise, they think this will pass. They remain bullish on cryptos in the next 6 to 12 months. And I will show you some data to back that up, even with my own findings. Okay? I'm just going to call it right now. I honestly think that, you know, this is going to be one of the best buying opportunities. Again, I'm not a fortune teller. I base it off the data I've gathered, the data that they gathered, but I'm leaning more towards, hey guys, look at this key moment. Yes, there's ETFs and all this new stuff, okay? But recognize what happened in 2020, and we're going to talk about that as well. But yeah, they're going to talk about the economy first, all right? What really drove crypto prices down this week, even stocks. So the crypto market rally throughout 2023 and 2024 been driven in part by the hopes of a soft landing for the U.S. economy. Such as this soft landing, the economy gradually weakened enough to bring down inflation. Yeah, I know some people are like, yeah, right, man. I don't feel like it. I feel like I'm paying 4 times the amount for my Taco Bell and stuff like that, right? Like crazy prices. Like, who eats at Taco Bell? Why are they charging more than any other place, right? That's Taco Bell. But anyway, if you read more about this, it says that even though we had those cuts, it was enough to plunge the economy into recession. Some people say, well, not yet, Max. Probably going to happen, this coming fall. The Fed subsequently cut rates and reinvigorated a slightly weakened economy back to normal health. That is a soft landing, according to them. Don't shoot the messenger. But throughout 2023 and the first half of 2024, it looked like we were going to get a soft landing because the economic data, did we forget about this, was weakening at a so-called Goldilocks pace. Weakening enough to cool inflation, but not enough to plunge us into a full recession. Now, here comes some of the data, and I will read this verbatim. So that pace of weakening, however, has accelerated in the past few weeks, culminating in some very weak data this past week, namely the July jobs report that a lot of people are afraid to read, right? Let's just be honest about that. Show that the U.S. economy added just 114,000 jobs last month, one of its lowest in the past decade. Again, this is not political, guys. This is actually from real data, all right? I'm not trying to make this political, but the unemployment rate unexpectedly spiked to 4.3%, and the manner in which it is moving higher is consistent with pre-recession behaviors. Here's that little chart, or what they're referencing in regards to U.S. unemployment rate, total in a labor force, of course, seasonally adjusted. And you can see it really up and down, dates all the way back to like the 1950s and even to present, right? So there's that. And of course, that's cited from Bloomberg. We always take our charts from Bloomberg, but suddenly markets are worried that the economy is weakening enough right now to potentially plunge into a full-blown recession. Soft landing hopes are losing traction, of course, on Wall Street. Hard landing realities are setting in. So are we going into a recession? That's what you guys are probably wondering about. I think a lot of you guys probably feel as though that's what's going on. That's okay. You all have a different opinion. They at Investor Place don't believe so. A lot of people probably don't have a lot of faith in them right now because they have gotten it wrong pretty much all summer long, and I hear you. But this statement, all right, about the economy weakening, but more importantly, the labor market flashing warning signs. Yes, unemployment rate is spiking in a manner that tends to only do so heading into recessions, right? All these things are worth noting. But this part literally says it. The economy is still growing. Just look at the weekly economic index, the best real-time measure for U.S. economic growth. This is why I don't just listen to just like opinions of people just saying, oh, I got a feeling that it's going to be a full-blown recession. I mean, I get that. It's easy to just hop on that bandwagon, right? And I don't mean any disrespect towards that, but this is where it's at for even myself, okay? So it is running at normal levels, around 2%, and we decidedly aren't in a recession yet. This is from the U.S. Federal Reserve of Dallas Weekly Economic Index. And that's worth noting, right? And, yeah, this even dates back to 2014. So, okay. All right, do we have more? Yes. It says any weakening the economy is suffering through right now can and will be combated by rate cuts from the Fed in the next several months. They have a lot of ammunition in this battle. And again, back to the whole thing of hiked rates, right? 21 times. Do you guys remember this? I'm sure you do. There's a lot of you guys that were watching live shows all the time, whether it's with whoever, right? Throughout the morning, day, evening, and so on. 21 times in 2022 and also 2023. If you're wondering what it all means, it means that they can cut rates 21 times to help the economy regain momentum. Don't forget that. I don't care what stream you go to, reference this, let people know to check the freaking data. But they have 21 bullets in their chamber, if you will. That sounds crazy. But anyway, The markets think the Fed will use a lot of these so-called bullets, that's just an analogy, don't shoot the messenger, in the next few months. The market is currently pricing in 6 rate cuts in the next 4 Fed meetings into January 2025. And you better believe with at least 2 of those, you're probably going to see some more doom and gloom. But what does it imply? It implies a 2 jumbo-sized 50 basic point cuts and 2 regular 25 basis point cuts. And for some people, that's just too much to handle. Well, guess what? This game of crypto is very, very volatile, but it doesn't just mean it's crypto. We've seen the worst stock market crash since 1987, according to the reports of today. Here's that chart of what they're talking about. This is the January 20 or up to January 2025 on the chart. This index in regards to the WIRP estimated change from current rates and so on. Again, from Bloomberg. And then, you know, we see this crazy nosedive, right? And some people, if they just came in right now, they're like, "Yep, that's good enough for me. Recession's definitely going to happen." And I get it. But I wanted to look into this a little bit more. This last statement, we think the Fed will follow up that exact path. All the rate cutting, I should say, should meaningfully re-strengthen the economy in a manner which it is not just to avoid a recession, but enter a strong expansion period too. All right. Now, with that said, I want to point something out. We're going to get into some of the nitty-gritty of my own key findings of why I really think we should all pump the brakes on this one. Really think we should. At the same time, take advantage of what is on your watch list. If you don't have a watch list, how many shows have we done in over the past 2 years? You don't have a watch list still? Okay, just a quick gist. Your XDCs, really great price. Your H-bars are fantastic prices. Casper with the hard R, a penny and was it 1.2 cents? That's a steal. BSV, steal. A lot of stuff is fantastic prices. We already talked about some of the stuff, right? Quant. We could go on and on about this, right? But there's more. So in the title, you saw emergency market briefing, respond to the global sell-off. Just a few hours ago, Luke Lango from Investor Place put out a video, and I'm going to play this whole thing. It's about roughly 20 minutes. You need to hear this. This guy's a smart guy. I've been with Investor Place for a few years now, and I've never been disappointed with some of the reports, even if they got it wrong, like lately, because a lot of the ones they recommended did extremely well for me all the way back to 2021. And I'll never forget that. So I'm going to go ahead and share this, all right? So this is this emergency market briefing. All right. Should be full screen on your screen. So please smash the like if you haven't done this already. 57 on YouTube, 96 on X, 157 total. Nice numbers for a doom day. I really appreciate you guys. You rock. All right, so the Fed has been walking the line to stay on the balance beam. Posted just a few hours ago. We're going to play this whole thing. This is one of the main things you need to pay attention to. I already reviewed it myself, but let's go ahead and jump into it. Here we go.
Hey guys, Luke Lango here, Senior Investment Analyst at Investor Place, and I'm here today with an emergency Monday morning briefing in response to the stock market's nasty sell-off right now. As you guys probably are well aware of by now, stocks are crashing today after crashing on Friday. Across the entire globe, Asia's crashing, Europe's crashing, America's crashing, commodity markets are crashing. Cryptos are crashing. Everybody's fleeing to bonds. Yields are crashing. We are seeing crashes across the board by many metrics. Just to put this in context, this is the worst single day sell-off across financial markets since the depths of the COVID crisis in March 2020. That's right, folks. We didn't even see a day like this throughout the entire nasty tech bear market of 2022, which was very painful. We still didn't see a single day like the day we're seeing today. It's some serious stuff. And you got to respect the tape. You got to respect what's going on in the markets. Why is it happening? What should we do about it? So over the next 10 to 15 minutes, we're going to answer those 2 questions. I'm going to answer those 2 questions for you. 1, why are stocks crashing? And 2, what should we do about it? What's our response? What's our game I'm going to dive into details, but let's cut to the chase right away. 1, why are stocks selling off? Recession fears. This is all about the markets, traders across the globe getting worried that central banks across the globe held rates for too high, too long, and that the economy, the global economy, is now going to tumble into a recession. That is the fear behind this sell-off. Number 2, what should we do about it? What is our game plan? I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but it's time to buy the dip. We're going to talk about what that means and how to strategically do that over the next several minutes. But this is the time that we want to embrace the panic, not run from it. We want to be greedy when others are being fearful. That's what my work is suggesting. So let's dive into it. Why are stocks selling off? Let's break down that first question. We talked about recession fears. Well, the big thing here we have to understand is that whenever the Fed embarks on a rate hiking campaign to fight inflation, it is the Olympics are going on right now. And one of the best events is in gymnastics on the balance beam. And they do all these fantastic tricks and flips and cool stunts on the balance beam. But when they fall off the balance beam, there are deductions, of course. Right now, the Fed is trying to stay on the balance beam, keep the economy on the balance beam. If the data gets too hot, then it risks reinflation and we fall off the beam. If the data gets too cold, then it risks a recession and we fall off the beam. So we've been really just walking the line very tightly over the last really 2 years in terms of economic data, and the economy has cooperated very, very nicely. We've gotten a bunch of Goldilocks economic data month after month, quarter after quarter, suggesting that the economy is cooling enough to ease inflation pressures, yet not cooling enough to plunge us into a recession. And that was great. We got the Goldilocks data. That changed. The pace of weakening in the economic data changed over the last 2 weeks. It accelerated meaningfully. And now all of a sudden people are worried that, whoa. This is the start of something nastier, a nastier downturn in the economy. We got that weak jobs report on Friday. That was sort of the straw that broke the camel's back, though it was a pretty big straw and pretty meaningful straw. And because the thing about that is once the unemployment rate starts to really rise, the unemployment rate, it moves with a lot of momentum. So once it starts going up, it tends to keep going up, and it is going up right now. So labor markets look weak. People are worried that the Fed kept rates too high for too long. Now there was talk of a 50 basis point cut coming in September. There's now even talk of an emergency meeting happening over the next few weeks. It's all crazy right now because people are very fearful that the economy is on the cusp of a major downturn. Is it? Is it really? We don't think so. We're not seeing that in the data. We're looking at the economy and looking at the data, and what we're seeing is something that, it's no longer Goldilocks or perfectly Goldilocks, but it's still a shade of Goldilocks. For example, today, we got the ISM services number for July. That was 51, let me put it down my notes, 51.4. It was 48.8 last month. So ISM services, like all the ISM numbers, above 50 is expansion, below 50 is contraction. If we were really going into a recession, as a lot of people are fearful of, then you would start to see the ISM numbers come in consistently below 50. But we actually did the opposite in July. We went from below 50 contraction to above 50 expansion. Goldilocks. That offsets a little bit that really weak jobs report we saw on Friday. So I still think we are getting Goldilocks data, or at least data that is a shade of Goldilocks. I don't think a lot of people will argue this point, and we could debate about it all night long, all day long, all week long. I don't think the Fed held rates too high for too long, really. I think they held it just to the last moment, but that's what they always do because they have to sniff out inflation. I think they've successfully done that, and now they can embark on a pretty aggressive rate cutting campaign. So I think what's going to happen is the Fed is going to cut rates and re-strengthen a hobbled economy, not rescue an economy in free fall. This economy is not in free fall. Look around you. Does it feel like things are in free fall? No, it feels like things are weak and they're not great. They're kind of sucky, but it's not free fall. It's not March 2020. It's not 2008, 2009. It's not that at all. This is a weak economy, a hobbled economy, but an economy that we're on crutches. We're not in a wheelchair. Okay. No one has to push us around. We're on crutches. We're still getting around ourselves. Once the Fed comes in, they're going to be the doctor. They're going to provide the medicine. We're going to get those crutches gone. We're going to get our cast off and we're going to start running again. That's how the economy is going to shape out, in our opinion. So from our perspective, the sell-off we're seeing in markets right now, the economically driven, the recession fear-driven sell-off in markets feels completely overdone to us. Then when we look at the technicals, what we're seeing is way too much fear. I mean, way too much fear. The VIX, the volatility index, Wall Street's fear gauge is what they like to call it. That spiked to 60 this morning. 60. Let me look at the data. The last time it was at 60 was the depths of the COVID crash in 2020. Before that, 2008, 2009, great financial crisis. And those are the only two times in history. Now, the VIX didn't start until 1990. But when you look at the data from 1990 to 2024, there are only two other times the VIX got as high as it did this morning. Depths of the great financial crisis and depths of COVID. Are we really there right now? Is that how bad things are? With unemployment at 4.3%, with GDP still coming in at 2%, with the ISM services still in expansion, with earnings still growing, with all the AI euphoria still alive and well and very vigorous? Are we really at COVID fear levels? Are we really at GFC fear levels? That doesn't make any sense. That's completely nonsensical in our opinion. So when we see a VIX blowout to 60, now granted, it's retraced all the way down to right now, it's actually down to 36. We've already had huge retracement and we've had huge dip buyers show up already too. This morning, the NASDAQ opened up down 6%. Down 6%. I've been doing this stuff for a while. Down 6% is that has got to be a 3 or 4 standard deviation move. It has to be. I don't have the data to prove that. I didn't actually look at it this morning, but in my experience, down 6% in the morning, that is a 3 or 4 standard deviation move. We are seeing moves in the market right now that are consistent with massive economic crashes, moments of massive economic terror. That's not reality, especially with the Fed having they got 525 basis points of rate hikes stored up in their rescue chamber, if you will. See, that's why the Fed hikes so aggressively. I mean, yes, to fight inflation, but they also saved up a lot of acorns for winter. Winter is coming, or winter is upon us, and they're going to fight it. They're going to do everything they can to fight this financial market instability, to fight this economic weakness, and they have a lot of ammunition to fight that. So we have the utmost faith that no, the economy is not heading into a recession, and any weakening that we do see is going to be successfully combated by a lot of rate cuts from the U.S. Federal Reserve. Because when you think about it, why is the economy weakened? Why are we on crutches? Why are we wearing a cast? Why do things not feel great? It's because of rates. The housing market, frozen solid. No one can afford a home. Why? Interest rates. The auto market, no one's buying cars. Auto shops are struggling. Look at Tesla stock. It's down significantly. Why? Auto financing rates. No one can afford a car with rates where they are. Huge ticket purchases, whether you're talking fridges or home remodeling or anything of that nature, construction, all of that is down significantly. Why? Because of rates. The economy right now is hobbled, not because of other things, because of rates. So the Fed has the antidote to fix the problem. And that is a wonderful situation to be in. So again, from our perspective, we think this recession fear-driven sell-off is overdone, especially when you look at the markets and what they're pricing in. VIX of 60, that's crazy. That's absolutely absurd and does not match reality. Now we're looking at the S&P 500, we're looking at its relative strength index. It's down to oversold territory. It's right around 30. That screams buy the dip. So that's why we think the strategy right now, the game plan right now has to be aggressive dip buying. but strategically aggressive dip buying. Because what you have to understand in moments like these is there's going to be one day where the market bottoms. That might be today, it might be tomorrow, it might be next week, it might be the week after that. I don't know. Nobody has a crystal ball to tell you the exact day that the market is going to bottom, let alone the exact hour or exact minute or exact tick. Nobody knows that, and we're not going to perfectly time that. So when you have a sell-off like this that does not match reality, that is very likely a dip buying opportunity. The way you approach that dip buying is strategically rolling into the weakness. So you wake up this morning, you see the NASDAQ down 6%, you roll into that. You take some nibbles. You don't chomp. You don't go all in when markets are crashing like this. You nibble at the dips as the stock prices come lower and lower and lower, and hopefully get a very low cost basis so that when things do U-turn, you can have enormous profits on the other side. That is the strategy that we want to employ in the stock market sell-off. Don't go all in and chomp on one single day, because that might not be the day that things bottom. It may go lower the next day. Nobody controls these things. Nobody knows these things. So you nibble, you nibble, you nibble, you nibble. And what we're saying right now is we want to nibble. We want to nibble aggressively, but we just want to nibble too, because things may go lower tomorrow. They may go lower next week. There's no telling exactly when the bottom is going to be, but we do believe that we are close to a bottom, both in terms of time and in terms of price, and therefore strategically and actually aggressively nibbling here makes a lot of sense. So across all of our services, we are going to employ that sort of strategic, aggressive nibbling stance, buying the dip stance amidst this stock market panic, which we think doesn't make any sense. Now, as far as how high stocks can go, how much they can rebound on the other side of this, well, we think the economy is still going to grow 2 to 3% over the next 12 months. That typically, when you kind of look at, track records, that typically should lead to about 6 to 10% EPS growth, profit growth across the S&P 500. We also believe that AI productivity gains will increase margins in a manner that turns that more into like 10 to 15% EPS growth. And we actually think we're going to be on the high end of that. So we're probably going to get 15% EPS growth over the next 12 months. We think after the sell-off, PE multiples are back to a level that make a lot of sense, and that rate cut should only help therein, because they'll bring yields lower, expand the equity risk premium, allow for PE multiples to move higher. So we actually think you could get some PE multiple expansion over the next 12 months as well, maybe 5 to 10%. If you couple that with 15% earnings growth, then yeah, you're looking at a market that could go up by 20 to 25% over the next 12 months. That is a great return. And that's why we think you have to be, another reason why we think you have to be an aggressive dip buyer amidst the stock market chaos. Where do we want to focus? What's the sector we want to focus on? AI. We think that theme remains very powerful. When you looked at as we did, the earnings reports that came out over the last 3 weeks. First off, earnings were great. About 80% of companies beat expectations. The average blended profit growth rate, I think, is about 11%, which would be the best in several quarters. So earnings were really strong. Earnings were really strong. And when you focus in on specifically the AI earnings reports, when you look at what Meta said, when you look at what Amazon said, Apple, Alphabet, what did they all say? AI, and a little more AI. And importantly, that they're all going to spend big on AI. Those companies have billions upon billions of dollars at their disposal, and they're saying we're going to employ it into AI. That's so important, because obviously those billions of dollars get spent and go towards other companies, the data center companies, the component suppliers, the application creators. Obviously that happens, but those companies also operate in competitive industries, right? Meta and Alphabet are the leaders in digital advertising. If they're investing heavily in AI-powered advertising capabilities, and all of their competitors, Pinterest, Snap, X, have to do the same, creating more tailwinds for AI-powered advertising markets. If Amazon is going big into AI-powered recommendations on their shopping platform, or integrating AI into their logistics, then their competitors, Shopify, Etsy, all those companies, PayPal, are going to have to come into that market as well and start investing in AI-powered capabilities on their platforms. On the logistics side, UPS and FedEx are going to have to do it to compete with Amazon shipping. So there are competitive network effects in play here, such that if the big boys are all saying they're all in with AI and investing tens of billions of dollars into artificial intelligence right now and over the next several years, then all of their competitors are going to have to do the same. We are at the beginning, the first inning or second inning of a massive AI investment frenzy. And I think that will translate into supercharged earnings growth for the companies that either supply AI components, make AI data centers, develop AI applications. I think that whole investment frenzy is just getting started. So those stocks have been the epicenter of the selling recently. I think they'll be the epicenter of the rebound as well. We're remaining resolutely bullish on that theme, on that idea. And we think there are some truly great opportunities emerging in that sector. Again, that doesn't mean this is the bottom for them. Doesn't mean tomorrow's the bottom. Doesn't mean next week is the bottom. I don't know when the bottom is, but we are bottom enough in those stocks, in my opinion, to buy them on the expectation that we can make some pretty great returns over the next 12 months, 24 months, 36 months. This is the beginning of a big investment trend in artificial intelligence, and we're very excited about the opportunities emerging in this sell-off at the current moment. So anyways, that's our kind of head-to-toe analysis of what's going on right now. Quick and dirty. We'll write some more stuff up. We will definitely send it your way over the next, few days and few weeks. But I just wanted to get this out to everybody as quickly as I could. When I woke up this morning and saw, the NASDAQ futures pointing to a 6% lower open, Dow 1,000-point drop in the futures, Treasury yields tumbling. When I saw all that this morning and I woke up, I knew the first thing I had to do was get online, get on camera, and tell you guys exactly how we view this sell-off and how we're responding to it. So hopefully, I'm not going to make the market go up. We know that. I don't have that power. Nobody has that power. But hopefully, I've definitely instilled some confidence in everybody watching this to say, hey, it's okay. Yes, some of our stocks are getting hit. It's painful. It sucks in the short term. But we'll take it on the chin. We're going to find opportunities. We're going to keep our head up, our chin up. We're going to find some opportunities, and we're going to turn today's losses into tomorrow's profits. That's our job. We're going to try our best to do that. There's no guarantee that will happen. I could be wrong. We could go into a recession. We will respond to that if that happens. But as of right now, I think the odds of that are so small, and therefore we have to stay aggressive. We have to buy into this chaos, because it is moments like these when the real money is made on Wall Street. Just think back to March 2020. The people that bought that dip when we were just nose diving into the ground on lockdowns and all that stuff. I mean, they made so much money between the March 2020 lows into December 2020 or December 21. There was so much money to be made in that span of time. But the biggest returns were made by people who bought into the chaos in March 2020. It's risky. I get it. But I think this is a time where we have to be risk seeking and not risk adverse. That's my 2 cents at least. So we'll communicate again more of all of this and all of our regular communications to all of you in the next few days and few weeks. But I wanted to get this video out. Hopefully it's done some good. And given all that I've said, don't be surprised if we start issuing some new buy alerts across all the services over the next few days and few weeks to have our actions match our words. We think this is a dip buying moment. Dip buying opportunities are emerging. Let's act on that. Let's show you exactly what we think we should be putting money to work in at the current moment, or where we think opportunities are emerging. Well, folks, that's all I have for this emergency briefing. As the markets develop over the next few days, it may require some more emergency briefings. If so, I'll be back on camera. Happy to talk you guys through it. But for now, that's all I have, and I hope this video was worthwhile and helpful. Signing off, this is Luke.
Okay, so we're not signing off. So at the beginning of today's show, we did a little bit of the crypto outline, and then you heard a little bit of the stock outline, because I had to address that, the worst stock market crash since 1987. Okay, let's get back to a little bit more of the crypto outline. We'll get back into the comments in a little bit, but I want to show you guys just a little bit more, because there is some things to really mention, and that is, of course, the whole thing of Mt. Gox. been on the minds of a lot of people, you know, because every time something goes on with Mt. Gox, the market has a significant crash, right? And we've all seen that, you know. So let's pull this up. I've gone ahead and, you know, I guess you could say drop the page down to this key area. You should see this on a full screen, nice and big for you. Just in case you're a Boomer F Sooner with his dog Monica sitting on the couch. Welcome, Boomer F Sooner. Good to see you, my friend. All right, so what you see here, it mentions specifically, while Mt. Gox moved another $2 billion, guys, worth of Bitcoin to a fresh address, as in BTC, this week, according to data from Arkham Intelligence, no, not Arkham Asylum, it looks like Mt. Gox still owns about $5 billion worth of BTC that will likely have to get moved over the next few weeks. Does that mean there's going to be more doom? I think so. I'm just going to be honest. Every single time that gets moved, huge dips in the market. We've already seen it the last few months. At the same time, Genesis said it has commenced making approximately $4 billion in distributions of digital assets and dollars to creditors. Therefore, it looks like another $10 billion in forced liquidations are due over the next few weeks. All right, so it could get delayed. We've seen how this stuff works. A little bit more about this. Token unlocks is also reporting that around $1 billion in token unlocks are planned for August. So that will also boost the supply throughout the crypto markets. These supply headwinds are why recession fears have such, you know, pronounced negative impact, of course, on the crypto markets. We just talked about, you know, a little bit of what's going on in stocks. We don't do that all the time, but we got to recognize it today, right? I mean, history was literally made today. The recession fears are weakening demand for cryptos at a time when supply is surging. But what are we doing? Are you one of the people in the comments right now that you are taking advantage of your watch list? I can't emphasize that enough. Your watch list. Or are you just aping into stuff blindly? Have a proper watch list. If you've done the research on certain things, right? Like whether it is BSV or BTC or XDC or Casper or some of these other ones, HBAR, right? Swift Coin, SHX, you name it, then you know darn well, wow, those are dirt cheap at the moment, okay? So lower demand plus higher supply equals lower prices. Right, economics 101. Hopefully most of us know that by now. And if you don't, that's okay. All right, so Luke and the crew have pointed out before that forced liquidations will likely end soon, but how soon? So my thing is taking advantage of some of these dips. I've had to move some stuff around, you know, allocate things more towards the ones that I see, wow, you know, I could always just pick up this other stuff that I moved around a little bit later. But, you know, like ones like QNT really stood out for me, right? I mean, come on, it hit 55 today. It was early this morning. It went up to like 58. That's still an absolute freaking buy, right? I believe this is the second least it's been since summer 2022 when Michael Cornwell introduced it to us at $40. All right, so look at this. Demand should pick up once the markets start to realize that the Fed will aggressively cut rates to save the economy from recession. I think Luke Lango's spot on with that. I don't know if you guys saw that or heard it, or maybe that just went over your head. I would agree with him on that. Over the next few months, we should see higher demand coupled with lower supply. And again, this is for the crypto outline, not the stock outline, which will lead to higher prices. On the higher demand part, the Fed cutting interest rates and driving market yields lower should considerably boost demand for what? Cryptos. Yes, I said cryptos, not stocks. As we have highlighted previously, BTC has developed a strong inverse relationship with the 10-year Treasury yield. Those yields are breaking down right now in a very bearish manner, which suggests lower yields for the foreseeable future. That should boost, of course, BTC if that's your thing. And here's another reference from Bloomberg. Why is it important? Well, what you see right here is on the 10-year trend, that has broken. It's 2022 uptrend support line. Next stop is 3.5%, then possibly 3%. And that's pretty clear as day. You don't have to be the most, you know, technical analysis type of person to understand how that works, right? I mean, a lot of you guys follow this stuff and so on. I don't really specialize in it enough, as I should, I guess you could say. But this is why, you know, in the past I would give you guys like the weekend report, right? Like on a Monday. Well, here we are on a Monday, back to business as usual for the most part. Cited from Bloomberg, there's that. All right, a little bit more about these technicals though. Technicals also seem to suggest that BTC is just basing before its next big move higher. I'm going to literally reference that here in a bit, but I want to complete this outline, and then again, we'll kick it back in the comments. On a long-term basis, BTC continues to straddle its 25-week moving average without meaningfully breaking below it. They point out before, at least Investor Place, that this is a very important technical level. The fact that BTC has not broken below this line and rather is showing strong support at this level suggests BTC is basing before a breakout. And again, from Bloomberg, dates all the way back to 2014. And how many cycles have we had already? Right, about 4. Yeah, about 4. Okay. So what are we going to see here soon? Well, I don't have a crystal ball, but I could base it on some certain things. So I don't want to necessarily get into this other talk about stocks again, but this part, I have fast forward to this part. Short-term basis, BTC is forming a converging triangle pattern between its uptrend support line from late 2022 and its downtrend resistance line from March 2024. March 2024. Why does March always get brought up? Well, last cycle, believe it or not, March 20th, 2024. We're going to show that here in a bit. What's crucial to understand is those two lines will converge by September. That's what they believe. Between now and then, they expect BTC to either stage a downside breakout of the uptrend support line from late 2022 or an upside breakout of the downtrend resistance line from March 2024. They favor the odds of the latter. I mean, that looks pretty bullish to me. You may not agree with it either, but that's okay. And again, like I just called it, they feel bullish as well. So, all right, everybody wants to see price action. It's been so frustrating. I look at like some of the greatest buys, trying to sell stuff that I don't need, and trying to allocate more money. Times get tough just for anybody else, right? But this is big. All right, I'm gonna take you over to something here in a bit. Something I want to point out in regards to history. You guys are wondering, is this 1987 all over again? So just a tad bit of talk about stocks. So the Federal Reserve, if you weren't aware, poured liquidity into the banks. Brokers didn't default, and the market basically made back all its losses within 2 years. Now that's stocks. Obviously, crypto didn't exist back then. The economy, of course, was fine. The good news was that in 1987, it was all about the markets. They went up, they went back down. And for the most part, no one was hurt. Now, let's jump into this. This is some of my own research. I mean, anybody can technically do this. This is something I found incredibly interesting. Okay? This is, of course, a chart for BTC. What's important to understand here is this is going to go back to the last cycle. Okay? So, what you see here at the tip is when BTC went to like 69K, right? 11/11/2021, okay? So a lot of talk about, what happened in the last pandemic. A lot of people felt as though, crypto shouldn't have done well and, it's going to do what stocks did. But as we know, it didn't. It kind of had its own thing going on, right? The demand for crypto was something else, right? All right, so here's the reference. So we see here in like the coming months before 2020, so like 2019 and so on. And then we have, for example, and I wish I could make it bigger, but it's going to get too smeared. Here's March. And boy, did it ever have a big dip. And look at that, 3/20/2020. You see this drop, all right? And basically speaking, from 3/20/2020, back to that reference that Luke Lango, Investor Place, is talking about, and in reality, what everybody's talking about, you saw this big, huge crash, okay? And then it was something like, what was that? So that's March. So by April, things are a little bit the same, and then things start to really take off by late April 2020, then May of 2020. And then a little bit of sideways action, right? I understand some people would say, well, that was the the last time around. But again, when we reference some of this, it's worth noting. So that last cycle, is it a coincidence that also happened March 20th? Okay, so basically speaking, you have the course of things start to really start turning around probably about November of 2020. On the upside, right? So in reality, you have about 6 to 7 months. Well, back to the Investor Place report. What does Luke Lango literally talk about? He mentions, and I'll stop the screen for a second, that it's going to be about 6 to 8 months. So what have we also learned in regards to these cycles? Come on, guys, don't overthink it. In the cycles, it shows, especially with the last one, that you have a period after the halving of about roughly 6 to 9 months, give or take, right? And if you want to see things get, towards all-time highs, that's a different story. But when things start to finally turn around, I'm actually with them. I'm going to agree with it, and I could be wrong. I'm just a person. I have an opinion like anybody else. But the data matches up. Now, I get the thesis, the hypothesis of many, and that is previous cycles do not represent ETFs. Okay, so they don't represent ETFs. What have we learned in regards to ETFs? Say what you want, whether you like ETFs or not. A lot of times, it's kind of like an unofficial lockup of a lot of the coins and whatnot. So, will that create more demand? I think the answer is yes. And, from what I've gathered also, it seems like the next news of an ETF would be Solana, and I don't want to get into that tonight, but that's all worth pointing out, okay? What we're going to do now is take a break. We're going to get into the comments, and then we're going to have some stellar news for you. So that's where it's at. I do thank you guys for tuning in, and we're obviously going to see what kind of questions and comments you guys have. So let me get back into some of this. Did see quite a few of you guys tuned in, and I do appreciate that. We're going to start with another key comment. So let me see where we're at. All right. We have Mule Shoe 624. That was a while ago. Apologize. Says Max, love the show. XLM QNT. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Elon Muff, welcome. Glad to have you back, man. These are opportunities that you don't really come across too often. If you have extra money, now is the time. Let's freaking go. That's a great point. All right. We're going to go further down in some other comments. Let's welcome Mr. Lambo's Crypto Talk. Hey, welcome back, brother. And Salamander states that he thought we were in a recession about a year ago. A lot of people did. Brent Swift, another hello from Australia. Really appreciate the hard work. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate you just tuning in and appreciating the show. All right. Everybody saying what's up to Tim. Boomer F and Sooner. Yes, look who's back. Back again. Max is back. Tell a friend. Something like that. Let's read this from Stefan. 1940-1950s recession and repeats what happened in Japan. Yeah, it's doom and gloom for Japan lately, is it not? What kind of supply and demand would that make for things like JASMY, maybe even A-Star? Think about it. All right, let's see here. Let's go further down. You're loading up on your bags. That's cool. Stump Rider is in the house. Welcome, Stump. Dead Cat Bounce. That's an interesting avatar. All right, I think I saw a Cool Cat in the comments somewhere, so welcome, Cool Cat. But yeah, glad to have you, Stump Rider. Caspa is doing good. I mean, within the last week or so, it hit all-time highs, which I am not complaining about that, especially when it comes to mining. That is a win. You like the intro? Thanks, man. I do appreciate that. All right, Stefan Eckel, shame on him. He didn't have coffee. Small business, small budget. Yeah. Sometimes you want the money to invest, and sometimes you can't. All right, Brittany's in the house. Good to see you, Brittany. All right, let's go further down. Let's see what else you guys got. Yes, LYX community in the house. Shook Focus is in the house. Hey, Shook, glad to have you here, man. Give him a follow, guys. He has great content on his channel. Check him out. Shook Focus Digital. Always good seeing you, Shook. You like the hat? Yeah, thank you so much. You know who donated this hat? One and only Elon Muff. Michael Cornwell. So that's who hooked me up with his hat. Thank you very much. All right. Let's see what we got. You guys talking about JPEGs and PNGs? What the heck? I know you guys are just joking around. All right. I do agree with this statement. Elon Musk says he thinks everybody thinks the United States ain't ready, but they were the ones that started the whole thing. They're just sitting there in the background ready to take off. I think that will be something that we'll finally see coming to fruition, but I know. That'll be one of those things that people want to see proof of, and I get it, you know? All right. See if you guys have any other info or questions. Yeah, he doesn't normally talk a lot. Actually, you don't see him on camera quite a bit, so this is the first time in many, many months I've seen him on camera. He usually just does articles and writes for the premium people like myself. Good to see Brian Dowie back, aka Cheese. And let's see here. Some people are saying we won't have an alt cycle next year. What does everyone think about that? So people say a lot of things. I get it. Yeah, it's kind of mixed about that. Let's read this from Dietary Card. BTC falls, XRP rises, and then it's XRP maxis versus the Bitcoin maxis after they transition BSV to the anti-CBDC mascot. That's why I choose to hold a lot of this stuff, like diversification into it all. I got a comment from a guy, and it's all right. It says something like, I'm a hypocrite because I own both and not just BSV. Hey man, at the end of the day, I'm an investor. I'm not trying to, you know, lead a revolution. Maybe people don't want to hear that, but it is what it is. Sunny Darko, I think Stellar is part of Ukraine's war plan. I think Trump throws a wrench in Stella's plans by stopping the war. That's a good point. Hey, welcome back. Are you guys talking about the discount? Yeah, we were earlier. Absolutely. Cool Cat Crypto is in the house, man. Have not seen you in a while. Good to see you. I got an update for you guys. I'm not the bearer of bad news, but I did get some news. So you guys know Mags of the Borealis blockchain builders. She sent me an email. It was kind of a sad email. She decided to delete her YouTube channel. She decided to delete her X, and then she said within 24 hours she's going to delete her email. For whatever reason, she kept getting suppressed with some of the stuff that she was posting about BSV, which sucks. And she just decided just to go back to being a person like, you know, most of you guys, you know, like a viewer person that tunes in. It was sad to see that because we had her on as a special guest and so on, but I get it. I totally get it. But I thought I'd give you guys a heads up about that if you were wondering what happened to her channel, and she was a special guest on the show a few months ago. All right, we're going to go further down. Let's see what else you guys have. All right, let's see here. Yeah, I did comment to you earlier, but I did want to welcome you back. I haven't seen you in a long time, Mr. Dingy, a.k.a. Daniel. Good to see you, man. All right, we're going to basically... What else do we got? We're going to just read like a couple more comments and then get into the Stellar, because I do have plans in 45 minutes. So I really got to get this going. Let's read this real quick. Monica went to the beauty parlor today. Oh, that's cool. You know, get your pet groomed. That's good stuff, man. That shows you are a good dog owner. All right. Reverend Jim Jones, welcome back. That is quite the avatar. Everything now is hate speech according to YouTube. Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. The whole woke culture nonsense. And I'll say that unapologetically. I am not going to apologize to wokeness. No freaking way. If I get shut down for that, sorry. That's just ridiculous. All right, so what we're going to do now is jump into the Stellar coverage. Yes, finally. Stellar coverage. Let's get the branding up for it. Let's get that coin going on. Absolutely. It's going to be good. I think it's going to be good. I know that we did a recorded video the other day. It was Stellar and Luxo, and I gave my hypothesis of why I feel that's a real thing. But basically speaking, before I actually do that, I need to do it the right way. So we got some breaking news. And you know what happens when we have breaking news on Maximus Crypto, right? I think you guys know what happens with that. You should know by now. If you don't know, now you know, right? So basically speaking, let's get right into it. Smash the like. Here we go. Yes, indeed. Have some breaking news to report in regards to Stellar. What exactly is this? All right. Well, some things caught my eye. It was reported just a few hours ago in regards to Stellar. I'm going to take you to some of the key things about it. But before we get into the nitty-gritty of that, let's just reference some things of like a blast from the past, if you will. Because some people, with all the doom and gloom going on, they're saying, Stellar's not doing nothing. It's not really building anything. You sure about that? Well, check this out. Number one, blast from the past. Ethereum versus Stellar. All right. Sometimes we need to be reminded of that. So, number one, it's basically speaking, real-time TPS of Ethereum is 91.6% less than Stellar. What about max record TPS? Ethereum max TPS is 64.57% less than Stellar. What about the theoretical TPS? Ethereum max theoretical TPS is roughly 89% less than Stellar. What about block time? Ethereum block time is 2.07 times more than Stellar block time. Okay, worth pointing out. Some other interesting facts or stats. Finality. Ethereum finality is 160 times more than Stellar finality. So, while we could go on and on about this, one of the things I want to point out to all of you guys is it's worth pointing out. And stick around to the end of that one. You want to hear about this. So, I'm going to jump into the next part because some people still don't think that Stellar's do anything. You know, I want to see price action. I've heard all the stories for the longest time. As you can see here, Stellar is definitely doing something, and they have had a lot of growth. Shout out to Lumen Loop, Stellar News, Calendar Project, and so I'm actually going to give them a follow. Okay, I recommend it as well. 1,000 smart contracts are now deployed on Stellar mainnet. They show the reference of both what you see from the general and also Sorbonne. I'm going to take you over to some of this. And you can totally see it. Total contracts deployed 1365. Smart contracts 916. So not too bad. And you do see the growth from February 26 all the way to now. That seems like constant growth to me. Absolutely. Taking into the next part of this. Before we get into the key breaking news. I mean, all this is new news. So, Huma Finance introducing PayFi, the new frontier for RWA. You're going to see a lot of talks about RWA. As the first PayFi network, Huma, if I pronounce that right, powers financing of global payments with instant access to liquidity anywhere, anytime. Explore PayFi and how it will transform payments. Well, I want to do that. You guys are here. You want to do that too. Why is this significant? Well, when I jumped into this, talks about this new frontier for real-world assets, right? Let's talk about that transaction layer. Because of the nature of payments, high throughput, low cost, and quick settlement are key requirements for the transaction layer. It says both Solana and Stellar have focused on payments from day one, building their names for high throughput and low cost. But for me, Stellar is going to shine, especially when they have the full rollout of Sorbonne, the Protocol 21 upgrade. As we know, Solana's network does go down. Stellar doesn't do that. All right, and nothing on knocking on people that have Solana. You may feel as though it's a great opportunity. I look at Stellar being a better long-term opportunity for numerous reasons, and we're going to get into that nitty-gritty here in a bit. All right, so we see that, and this particular company, PayFi, introduced what? Payment-specific enhancements. Yes, there's Solana Pay, but there's also Stellar Disbursement Platform. And they're doing what? Utilizing blockchains for any type of payment, bringing everyday finance to the masses. Yes, to the masses. You're going to hear more talk about tokenization. You're going to see more talk about the whole thing of RWAs. There's this news post from the block. Okay, this was late July, but still valid. Why is that? Because they talk about RWAs. So Etherfuse, RWA tokenization platform founded by Taylor and his brother AJ. The platform focuses on tokenizing emerging market assets. We didn't feel the United States, listen to this, would let us innovate on products that could be viewed as securities. Remember how people worry about, what's going to happen with XRP, and how Brad Garlinghouse said, if it came to it where the SEC 100%, in the case, I should say, not the SEC, that we got ruled as security, we would move offshore and still continue to do our thing. Well, this company was looking at it from that perspective. So what did they do? They went to Mexico, where they felt they would be able to develop a tokenized bond product. Now, this guy says, who is from this particular platform that we're talking about, currently we are the only, and read that right, only Mexican peso denominated yield bearing asset in the world. Now, some of you guys may think, okay, how was that breaking news? Let me get to the main key part that was just 5 hours ago. But what's important to understand is this is a doom and gloom day. And even though you don't see the price of Stellar moving, you can appreciate what has been built, and you can appreciate other companies that are utilizing the blockchain, and it is the layer 1. So the whole concept of seeing whether it's long-term or in this case short-term tokenized debt products, well, that reminds me of XRP, because we understand XRP shines when it comes to ODL, taking on that debt and so on. So tokenized Mexican Federal Treasury certificates are called TES, and there's also tokenized Brazilian National Treasury notes. That right there. Remember when we talked about Quant, talking about the BRICS nations? Well, that sounds pretty BRICS, right? Brazil is the B in BRICS. You have tokenized European Union bonds from Spain and Germany, and back to the whole thing of the United States Treasury. Remember I did like a couple videos on this? You guys saw the recordings? And we talked about how the United States Treasury chose Stellar for financial inclusion. They wanted to be part of that mix. So that is, to a sense, the US's plug into the whole thing. Back to Etherfuse. They call its tokenized products stable bonds. Think about that. Stable bonds. We talked about stable coins till we're blue in the face. But as these are tokenized versions of physical bonds, they are issued by sovereign entities. What happens, guys, when we get other examples, not just Mexico, but other places in the world? What happens when we have over half of the world? You know where we're going with this. We're gonna be led to believe that Stellar's price is only gonna still be, it's just probably only gonna go with 25 cents. Give me a break. At the end of the day, if you build it, they will come. You better believe they will come. Look at the prices in the market. Look at Stellar currently speaking, roughly around 8 cents. Heck, by the time I chop this up, it could be 7 cents. What a great opportunity to get into things like Stellar. All right. The moment you've been waiting for. Here's the breaking news. So, Stellar blockchain chosen for what new EURT, EURT, EuroPeg stablecoin initiative? How long ago was this posted? Well, 11 a.m. That was just a few hours ago, guys, right? Roughly about 6-7 hours ago. Yes, today, August 5th, new EuroPeg stablecoin EURT is being launched on the Stellar blockchain with the aim of being fully MiCA compliant. Shout out to our brother Rue Black. He always talks about MiCA, tokenizer, and so on. I do it as well, especially with XDC. But the point is, what differentiates this from what we studied in the past? Because, we could talk about stable coins, guys, till we're blue in the face, right? Now, this time, this really makes Stellar shine. How is that? At the end of the day, we talked at the beginning of the outline of the live show, supply and demand forces. This specific one will outshine all of them. And I'm not just saying that because that sounds like something to hype it up. I'm going to show you real research to back up that statement. All right? I have some of my own notes prepared for the show and so on. Out of all the ones I've seen, this is Stellar's moment. Stellar is the chosen one for this, and man, are they ever. So I decided to jump into this article. I decided to get into the nitty-gritty, jump into the weeds about this and so on. Let's take you over to this. This is from the Digital Pound Foundation, and as you guys know, Quant had a big factor with the whole thing, Digital Pound Foundation and so on. And, Gilbert Verdian resigned and so on, but he only really sticks around with other companies for maybe a couple years, and he moves on. So, been there, done that. But Stellar blockchain, like it says, chosen for the new YERT Euro pegged stablecoin initiative. Why is this so significant? Well, it's not a super long article, but I want to get into some of these things. Excuse me. So, number one, Ireland-based electronic money institution DECTA from the EMI, partnering with French fintech company Next Generation, introduced a new euro-pegged stablecoin called YERT. Now, we understand this collaboration, but what does it say specifically in regards to crypto? Yes, crypto. Everybody wants to hear the whole notion that crypto is being used, not something like Project Enbridge and all this other stuff where we can't buy these assets that we hold in retail. I'm with you guys. So this collaboration aims to create a fully compliant, yes, you read that right, stablecoin that adheres to the markets and crypto assets. Were you aware that's what MiCA stands for? Regulations, and operates on the Stellar blockchain, alongside 3 additional platforms. Next Generation, which has close ties with Tempo France, previously launched YERT with the Stellar Foundation. Knows how it consistently says Stellar is one of their first stablecoins in 2017. However, and this is where the supply and demand kicks in, pay attention to this part, just in case you're talking about pogo sticks or something. The project was suspended due to a lack of regulatory framework. Now, I got something else on my back burner for XRP, and I'm telling you flat out, it matches this as well. And I'm not done with that because it's 152 pages. All right, super long, and it's been deleted from the internet, and you're going to have to wait for that. But we are talking about Stellar. So the implementation of MiCA now provides a structured environment facilitating the relaunch of this project. Remember how we talked about in the past? That's the other players that will kick in to create supply and demand forces that we just don't know about. As of July 1st, 2024, the new MiCA regulations permit the issuance of euro-pegged stablecoins exclusively by credit institutions or EMIs within the European Union. Within its EMI license from the Central Bank of Ireland, DECTA is well positioned to be pioneering issuer under these new regulations. All right, let's take a pause on that for a second. This is why I like being so well diversified. Why is that? 2 key things why I like being diversified. I will talk you guys' ears off about quant, right? Been there, done that. They stand out specifically when it comes out to like Bank of England and what they're doing over there and so on, right? So, okay, cool. But as we know, England left when it came to Brexit, right? They're not on the euro anymore. They went back to their own thing, okay? Cool, been there, done that. But when we see this talk and to see Stellar part of, the European Union's initiative for euro-pegged stablecoin, then it's like, I'm glad I hold Stellar. Really glad I hold Stellar. Is that all I have? No, it's not. It gets really good. I think this is something that really flew under the radar because if you go to the Stellar page on X, you see all this stuff about all the community stuff, right? And that's fine. You had to really go further down, and then you see this. And it's like, okay, why do we get all the other stuff? Well, it is what it is. But when we talk about this implementation, this gets really good. The implementation of MiCA has ushered in a new era of history of modern digital finance in Europe, said Søren Herion, president of Next Generation. Now look at this. The demand for euro stablecoins is extremely high. Some people weren't even aware of that. Companies, entrepreneurs, private users today lose a lot of forced conversations. While they don't expect immediate parity between American and European coins, obviously, he foresees a rapid growth towards the proportions these fiat currencies hold now. At the end of the day, how so? It gets good because it's going to talk about 2026 here in a bit. The firm plans to launch YERT as soon as October of this year. Aligning with strategic goals and regulatory milestones, the partners emphasize the significance of regulation, indicating that unregulated euro-denominated stablecoins, think about this, will no longer have a place in the market. Oh my God. So what's going to happen to Tether? Shout out to Brian Dowie. You've been calling this for years. Is that the next big black swan event? Could be. I'm not saying it is. I'm not rooting for that. Never rooting for that. But supply and demand forces will kick in, and especially when it comes to Stellar, and I have an outline to get into this. This is kind of a deep dive, I get it. But a major international auditing firm will monitor the reserves. That's good. We don't want Terra Luna again, do we not? We don't need any more of that UST garbage crap. And regular publication of key financial indicators will enhance transparency. Say what you want. Stellar has been at the forefront for Europe and all over the world trying to make sure that they're regulatory compliant. This impresses me. As you guys know, I cover JASMY like crazy, and you can respect what JASMY has done with Japan. But more importantly, this is Stellar. So market trends and strategic projections suggest that YERT could reach a market cap of up to $4 billion by 2026. And this just off of this stablecoin alone? Are you kidding me? With significant growth expected in subsequent periods. Next generation will manage key technological aspects, including issuance. And some people ask about burning. Yep, burning, distribution of YERT, underscoring the potential and excitement surrounding this venture. I'll read this last statement. This is from Patrick Hayes, the CEO of DECTA. He expressed enthusiasm about the partnership. Partnering with Next and Generation on YERT initiative is an exciting opportunity for DECTA. As what does it say? Regulated e-money entity focuses is ensuring client money is protected and managed correctly. That's all in alignment with everything of MiCA and especially with USDC and their policies. All right, it is a step forward. All right. But here's the thing I want to talk about real quick before we close out. At the end of the day, we are Stellar XLM holders. And a lot of times we see some of this stuff and we're like, man, how the heck does this really affect Stellar XLM? I hold XLM. You're talking about this new stablecoin. That's like getting excited about USDC, Max. I hold XLM. Hey, I'm with you. Hear me out on this. So number one, we have to address the elephant in the room, the big news story. And that basically is the significance of YERT on Stellar and the implications, of course, for XLM. Hear me out. What will this cause? Well, it's validation of Stellar's capabilities, everybody. And that validation is profound. If we talk about, for example, the validation of like what Quant does with the overledger on the back end of things, it's worthy of mentioning some of these things when it comes to Stellar. So two things I want to get into. In that article, there's a lot of talk about regulatory compliance. And if anything, MiCA will be the driving force for Stellar in this whole thing. But this regulatory compliance, the choice of Stellar, guys, for a regulated Euro peg stablecoin demonstrates the ability, or I should say the platform's ability, to meet stringent regulatory requirements, obviously such as MiCA. You better believe it enhances Stellar's credibility as a reliable and compliant blockchain, layer 1 by the way, for financial institutions. That's a huge win. But at the end of the day, we want to see scalability, especially compared to things like Ethereum, and more importantly, things like Solana, because that network goes down, but it's supposed to have higher TPS. True. But it's the efficiency of Stellar. Stellar, as we know, has the lowest prices when it comes to, you know, was it 0.0050 zeros and a 5, or excuse me, 5 zeros and a 1 or a 2? It's the cheapest one out there when it comes to costs. So Stellar's proven track record in handling large-scale transactions and low fees make it an ideal platform for a stablecoin with potentially high volume. I don't think it's going to be potentially. If they're the chosen one, it will have that high volume. There's no way it's going to stay around the same prices that it is. Now, some people say, well, you're talking about the whole thing of a pairing. There's more to it than just that. Hear me out. I am going to get into the XLM example. We all want to see more adoption for Stellar. So what would it create? Why is this such big news? And why am I all excited about it? Guys, at the end of the day, it's new users. New users being added consistently is a win for all of us in the Stellar army. How so? YERT's launch is likely to attract new users. a bunch of new users to the Stellar network, including businesses and individuals seeking to transact in euros digitally. You combine that with Sorbonne, the premier smart contract platform, and now you have the perfect formula for Europe to be onboarded. You know, we talk about bridge currencies. This is where it's at. Pay attention to October of this year, and more importantly, in my opinion, that flip a switch of November 2025 with the ISO 222 mandate. Is this all I have? No. Listen to this. At the end of the day, the increased activity on the Stellar network can definitely stimulate the development of an ecosystem. New applications, new dApps, services, integrations, fostering a more robust ecosystem is a big win, especially with Sorbonne coming in. But now let's talk about the final part. We are XLM holders, and sometimes we get frustrated with all the talk about USDC. And what about XLM? I'm with you. So would it create more growth for XLM? The answer is yes. And how so? There would be increased demand, profound increased demand. As the Stellar network handles more transactions, the demand, of course, for XLM, the lumens, by the way, the native cryptocurrency will increase. No, I didn't say may increase, will increase. XLM is used for network fees, as we know, as a bridge currency for cross-asset transfers. Notice I didn't say cross-border payments. We already been there, done that. But the reason why I shared everything with you guys tonight is because what did we talk about before the main news? We talked about RWA, real world assets. So cross-asset transfers? Huh. I see where Max might be going with this. Yeah, because guess what the next step is? It's enhanced liquidity. How so? The presence of a euro-pegged stablecoin on Stellar can improve liquidity. Yes, that's right. And for what? USDC? For Yurt? No! For XLM! As other assets, I should say, on the platform. All right. Will this strengthen like Europe's digital finance landscape? Like, that's great, Max. But at the end of the day, you talked about Yurt. There's got to be something for them. Yes. Two things. Financial inclusion. Just like the United States Treasury wanted to pick and be included for financial inclusion, so they chose Stellar. Now it's a whole continent. A whole continent sounds a lot bigger than just the United States Treasury, does it not? My opinion, it does. Maybe we could differ on that. But Yurt in itself can contribute to financial inclusion by providing access to digital financial services for what? Wider adoption. At the end of the day, that's the main mission we all want to see. We could talk about how great Stellar is till we're blue in the face, but if we don't get mass adoption, we don't have squat. All right. What about Innovation Hub? Yes, Stellar's role in the Europe project positions it as a key player in Europe's evolving digital financial ecosystem. And at the end of the day, everybody, overall, the Europe initiative is a positive development for Stellar. Not a negative one, not a hopeful one, because they chose Stellar and the broader cryptocurrency industry. It highlights, don't get it twisted, don't listen to the FUD, the growing acceptance of blockchain tech for regulated financial products and positions Stellar, yes, you heard me right, Stellar as a leading platform for stablecoins and digital assets. Now, we understand that with XLM, all this stuff is hard to predict. I don't have a crystal ball, but I could check out research, can I not? And same can you. The long-term benefits, you heard me right, the long-term benefits of increased adoption, mass adoption, network growth, and enhanced liquidity are not a possibility. It is likely to have a profound positive influence on its value. So, as much as we had doom and gloom today, stay the course. Know what you have. Know why you hold it. The research. Yes, the research trumps FUD. 110%. It's been a pleasure bringing this to you guys. So glad to be back with you guys. And with that said, I'm going to check out the last bit of comments. And also check the time, because I have some plans coming up in 19 minutes. So let's get into it. I'm going to go fast into it. See what we have. All right. So I thought it was big news. Maybe some people don't feel as though it's big news. I think it's huge news. October is the time to pay attention to see things going off. But It takes time to adopt. But that is, in my opinion, some of the biggest news for Stellar. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get into the next bit of comments. All right, so here we are. Beebs is in the house. Corey Beebe, a.k.a. JASMY not the scam. That's cool. Maybe Stella would buy MoneyGram. You never know, man. Cat, thanks, Max. Good night, all. Yes, have a good night. All right. Possibly. I don't know. Didn't you just threw 160,000 down on a house and 10K down a car? Buy the dip with what? Oh, I'm sorry, bro. Well, I don't know. You'll figure it out, right? Maybe you'll sell your old Super Nintendo and your Sega Genesis because you're dead broke, man. You couldn't picture this, a big dip in the market, you know, with a ripped leather, green leather sofa, you know. Got to rise a limousine with the show. Why am I rapping right? I don't know. Biggie Smalls in the house. All right, Lord of the Realm. Good evening, everyone. I'm loving this buying opportunity. Yes, great buying opportunity. So the ecosystem is fire. It definitely will be long term, especially. Hello, Brittany in the house. Yes, yes, yes. I did welcome you earlier. Sold your Stellar for H bar a while back. Ah, you're more bullish on H bar. Well, scam. All right, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. All right. Don't shred. That's exactly 100% why KP holding packing XLM. Oh, cool. Welcome, Dope Shred. Welcome, welcome. Always welcome newcomers. OG Crypto in the house. Mr. Gangsta. Good to see you. Dietary Gakar. Nice. You must check out or invite Aaron Day onto one of your podcasts. All right. I am not against it. All right, let's see here. XLM Sleeper Coin, I would agree with that. Beeves, Max did Stella ink a deal with a tokenization company in Africa called Danrev. The deal is worth $330 million. Danrev already uses Stella. Understand that this deal involves tokenizing copper. That's interesting, huh? All right, let's read this. Hey, I recognize you. And, you know, lovely couple. Peace, Max, in the chat. Hey, thanks. Welcome back, if I'm pronouncing that. Oh, you literally have it in your... What am I talking about? You have it literally right there. Bay Hoodit. Yes. Welcome back. Stellar Launch Zone SLZ is a gem, she says. Or they say. Sorry. All right. Swift Coin, great buy. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. What's good? What's good? Welcome, welcome. Let's welcome Crypto Otoko. Wow, yes, but will they remain stable, Max? Another USDC day pig, like, yeah, but I mean, UST it was the worst one, and you know when they depegged, it was only temporary speaking. They came back, so anyway, but you know something you could cover on your channel for sure. All right, JASMY, Guy Guru, XLM, XRP, buy now should be a lot higher. True. Kenneth Robinson, hey, welcome back, brother. Kenneth, it's like Stellar. You like Stellar more than XRP, to be honest. A lot of people do. All right, let's see here. Nobody getting rich holding forever. Buy Swift Coin and XCN is all you can say. Of course, JASMY. Okay. Here XLM is used by Stripe and all this BS and no price increase. Well, it's not at full adoption yet. I mean, everybody that's complaining about ISO 222, and I get it. You know, ISO coins and so on. It's like you're not really giving, like, no one, everybody complain about the price, but in reality, it's like it's regulation will be the driving force. That's the emphasis I'm trying to put in. But you know, if people are with me, great. If they're not, that's okay too. This whole world that we live in, where people can't agree to disagree, I think is ridiculous. All right, Light. Hey, man, good to see you back. Yes, always recognize you. Thanks for all the good comments on the recording. Europe Digital ID, Stefan Eckel says, started 2025, makes sense to Stellar. Max, and using EUROC make Europe connection. Good point. Matthew Burns says, thank you. Hey. Welcome, welcome. All right, I'll read this from Otaku. Keep being wicked, no rest for us. Keep the hustle going and it'll pay off in the end. Thanks, man. DL, welcome. Max, your content has gone neck level in the last month. Thank you for all your hard work and research. That means a lot, man. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. All right, Kenneth Robinson. When my legal situation is over in a few months, I'm going to buy at least 300,000 worth of. Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. All right, paint once, not twice, just once. Get it done in one job, right? Noob, been following for a while, just now catching live. Thanks. I think it's a type. He's not saying thanks to Massachusetts, right? And all the crew. All right. Well, welcome. I'm not going to call you a noob, but, welcome. Anyway, glad to have you. Always welcome newcomers, guys. All right. Hey, there's Dennis Little in the house. Francisco. Good to see you, brother. Always appreciate you, man. Here's a dab. Stellar don't have money transmitting license in the U.S. is due to possible X Payments partnership. That's another deep dive for another day. You're more welcome to look into it. There's some other things that you mentioned in the past that I'll try to look more into. I don't dismiss what you sent me. All right, let's see here. Ahmed. See, I didn't say Ahmed. Ahmed. Damn, I hope you're fully recovered and I hope you get every penny, bro. Oh, what happened? Company hit your truck. Oh, no. That's horrible. Well, yeah, I agree with Ahmed, man. All right. Behudit. Big money. Bain and Capital says 16 trillion coming in this year. I think this crash is part of the plan. Could be. Could very well be. And with that also said, totally off the wall thing to say, you need to have like the ultimate rap song. You know what I mean? Like, Bay, who that? Got some XLM. Bay, who that? Who got the XLM? I don't know. Something crazy like that, right? Anyway, got to have some fun towards the end of the show. I do appreciate you, though. Because some people are like, who that? Well, it's Bay, who that? Like, who that? I don't know. I'm not saying it right. I think it's fun. All right. You're very welcome, Paint Once. And with that said, let's see how we doing real quick. I got 12 minutes to spare. I got to get going. Got to prep real quick. You like that? Bay, who that? All right. I'm really glad to be back with you guys. I know that it's been a while since I did some live shows with you guys, but 3 jobs, 7 days a week. I gotta get back to like 2, and not 7 days a week. One of these days to finally have like, I don't know. You know how it goes, guys. Can't make crypto buying come out of the wall, right? You gotta do something. So, you guys are very welcome. If you haven't done so already. If you do use the X platform, give me a follow over on X because X gonna give it to you. And when it happens, you can be like, babe, who that? Who that? Who that? Who that? Get yourself an X and follow me on there. Trying to grow the platform over there. And with that also said, stay tuned for some recorded videos. I have some Q&T in the pipeline. Yes, I haven't forgotten about the JASMY army. I got some stuff I'm working on with that. Rome was the one built in the day. And ISO 222 coins. Price action. Doesn't happen overnight either. And I understand that we can't just hold these coins forever. But it is a game of patience. So, let's read these last comments. You do like that. You're very welcome. Corey B-Bay is always great seeing you, brother. And I said it right. And you used... Yeah, that's cool. Right on. All right. So, yeah, you're very, very welcome. Mike Tyson. Yeah, man, I be in the market. I be like, everybody knows my old school vocabulary of scientifically and metamorphically use my photosynthesis, JASMY to the moon. If you don't know now, I got to do the older Mike Tyson. I can't get that down. The younger Mike Tyson, I got it. So, let's read this from Crypto Otaku. Haha, yeah, you get there, work in the bear market, and you'll be chilling in the bull market. If you don't know how, now you know. Check out Crypto Otaku. He does live shows. A very passionate person. His shows are at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And if anything, hopefully you guys enjoy some of that. We're going to play the intro, which is now an outro. Hope you guys enjoy it. I'm sure YouTube will have a hissy fit. But you guys get the treat on the live show. And then later on, I just go into it and then just block that part off for people to watch the replay. I know all the tricks, right? Anyway, you guys rock. We hit 261 for my first time back in a couple weeks on the live show. So I really appreciate it on a doom and gloom day. 51 on YouTube, 210 on the X platform. X gonna give it to you. Smash that like. Stay the course. Know what you have. Know how you hold it. Research Trump's flood 110%. Shout out to all our brothers that tuned in tonight. Michael Cornwell, Brian Dowie, Tim Shea, Crypto Otaku, Stefan Eckel. You know who you guys are. Ahmed, freaking Kenneth, all you guys. Too many to mention. I do appreciate you guys. We have a great community here at Maximus Crypto. And yeah, probably see you guys maybe later on in the week and so on. So, outro, here we come, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. Again, smash the like on your way out. Over and out. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.
The greatness comes not when things go always good for you, but the greatness comes and you're really tested when you take some knocks, some disappointments, when sadness comes. Because only if you've been in the deepest valley can you ever know how magnificent it is to be on the highest mountain.
Cause I'm flagrant, tap myself and the phone in the basement. My team supreme, stay clean. Triple beam, lyrical dream. I be that. Catch a seat at all events bent. Gats and holsters, girls on shoulders. Playboy, I told ya, me and Mike's to me. Lose too much, I lose too much. Step on stage, the girls do too much. I guess it's cause the people lame do too much. Me lose my touch, never that. If I did, ain't no problem to get the gap. Where the true players at? Throw your rollies in the sky, waving side to side, and keep your hands high while I give your girl an eye. Play it please, lyrically, you can see B.I.G.B. flossing, jig on the cover of Fortune. 5 double O, here's my phone number, your man, I got the know, I got the dough, got the flow down, Bizak, platinum plus, like Bizak, dangerous, on Trizak, leave your ass Frizak.
Do we live in a simulation? Probably not, but it is an imitation. The boundary has lifted and arisen limitation. The technology exists to deliver stimulation. Augmented pixels, vivid integration. We've traded our emotions for digital elation. Where you're present in containment. Could be sitting in your basement and living in a matrix at the same time. Hidden like Malaysian Airlines, obliviously taken. Can we use this for the base without giving it to Satan? The App Store logo is the symbol of the Masons. Is this even freedom or is it information? How different is your brain to what's written in a paper? Intelligence evolving artificially created in a singularity, training algorithms for persuasion. Conditions will remain in a sticky situation. No vision for a change, only silly conversations. Political debates while they fiddle with your data. Then you pity me a fake, phony missionary statements. Whether Christian or pagan or Hinduism is your favorite, religion is a way of belittling a nation. And this is just the basics. Is it a conspiracy to state the president's a snake, or a lizard with a face, and any minute he could shapeshift? It's difficult to say, but there's unlimited mistakes, and I'm a little bit sick of it today. So I'm sitting here awake inside the pressures in societies, depression with anxieties. They messing with your mind, it's the stress and no variety. A devil in disguise, you see the redness in your eyes while your head is in the skies. You've never been a liar, but they questioning your life like you've never been alive.